Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. In this video, I will share with you the recipe for a wicker overlay that is incredibly easy to make and can be made very easily by those who are just starting to knit. I have prepared it in two colors like this, but you can also prepare it in one color. Each can be the same color or look like me. I have prepared one orange and one blue like this. I plan to make such a colorful work by completing it to 6 and preparing it with different colors. I hope to complete these to 6. The texture is very nice. It can be very easy to use. When water comes into contact with these, there is no damage or anything like that. If you just put it on a flat surface after rinsing it with water and dry it without exposing it to too much friction, there will be no problem in cleaning. Look, I want to show the model up close. It is a spotless work and this is a product I designed myself. It is very easy, as I said. There is no difficulty at all. Even beginners can do it very easily. I want to show it on the back side. Look, it is a spotless work. I shared all the details with you step by step in the video. It's a truly enjoyable and fast-growing project. You could easily finish more than 1 or even 6 in a single day and have such a beautiful overlay set. Before we move on to the detailed recipe, I'd like to ask a small favor of you. I'd really appreciate it if you could subscribe to our channel for free, like the video, and leave a comment. Let's move on to the recipe. I'm using a shelving yarn for my knitting. I'll show you the texture. I'm using a soft, gentle handling shelving yarn. It's a fine, textured, and versatile yarn. I'll add where I got the yarn from in the video description. You can check it out there. I'm using a 4mm crochet hook for this project. You can determine your own hook size based on the fineness and thickness of the yarn you're using, as well as the tightness and looseness of your knitting. It doesn't have to be a regular yarn. You can easily work with other yarns. Now let's start with the magic ring. For any beginners, I've previously shared a detailed video on how to make a magic ring. I will add the link to the description section. You can access it by clicking there. Now, while creating the magic ring, we are making one chain here. Now we complete this one chain into 2 threes. We will accept a double crochet in this chain. I am filling with crochet. I am slipping into the ring. I have 3 stitches. I am filling. I am wrapping them together again. By knitting them together, I am preparing a double crochet. I am filling with crochet again. Look, I have slipped into the ring. I have 3 stitches. I am wrapping them in 2 ways and creating the double crochets. Now I am counting the chain at the beginning as a handrail. I am preparing a total of 16 handrails, including the chain at the beginning. Now I am closing this middle part by pulling the rope that is short from the magic ring to the point where I can pull it in a controlled manner. It is useful to pull the control, otherwise your yarn may break suddenly. Look, I am collecting the middle part like this then. Look not at the chain but at the first double crochet. Look like this, 1, 2, 3 chains, and the top of the next double crochet is right there. I'm inserting the short yarn into the top of the double crochet, holding it over the hook, and I'm going to hide it. I've made a stitch from this point, slipping the slipped stitch from the waiting stitch here. Look, I've created the top space of the chain. This way we have 16 points. Now I'm going up with another 2, 3 chains, filling it with the hook. We'll consider it a double crochet in this chain again. But right now, I've pulled this chain, I'm waiting, I've wrapped it with the hook. And now I've inserted it into the top of the first double crochet, so don't slip it. I come to the top of the treble crochet I made and knit a double treble crochet again, 2 in 1. I wrapped it with the hook. I come to the same space. Did I knit the second double treble crochet? Look, I've become a crochet hook like this, and I looked at the next treble crochet top. I continue to hold the short yarn over the hook to hide it and knit 2 double treble crochets on the very next treble crochet top. Now look, the chain is left in between like this. Now I work 2 treble crochets on the top of each treble crochet until the end of the row. We've come to the end of our row. After working 2 treble crochets on the last treble crochet, I fill in the hook. Look, I'm coming to this slip point here. We said it creates the top space of the chain. I'm working a double crochet here at the slip point, filling it with the first chain. This means I've finished the chain with 16 double crochets, and now I've finished the double crochet with 1 double crochet. So there will be 16 double crochets including the first chain. I'm not touching the chain at all. I'm working the first double crochet right here, slipping it off the top. See if I slipped it. This is how the count is evened out. When working with a rack yarn, there may be slight inward bends, twists, etc. Iron it by hand at the end. When you steam it, it will be flat anyway. If it curls slightly like this, don't worry, it will be level when ironed. Now I'm going up with the chain. I wrapped it around the hook. Now look, I'm coming to the top of the handrail where I've made a slip again. Double, I'm sinking. First handrail. I fill my hook. I come to the same space and work another double crochet. I fill my hook. I work the next double crochet as a single crochet. I wrapped it. The next handrail is 2 handrails, so it's double. I'm sinking 1. The second double crochet in the same space, the other one. Now I started with a double. Look, we will count it when finishing the chain at the end. 1 double, 1 single, 1 double, 1 single. Let's start from the first double crochet in this way until the end of the row. We have reached the end, and look, I am sinking to the top of the last double crochet and I am knitting 2 double crochets. We continued in a single and double pattern. Now I am accepting 1 single in the 3 chains here. Look, we have a 3 chain gap between the 2 doubles. This slip chain will give us a gap at the top. Look, we have finished the row. We have finished with a double. We have a 3 chain gap in between now. Without touching the chain, we slip stitch onto the top of the first double crochet, slip stitch and join our row. Now I'm working up 1, 2, 3 chains again, filling my hook. Almost every time I work 2 double crochets into the first double crochet, 1, 2 into the same space. I started with a double crochet again. Now there will be a single crochet on the bottom row. There will be 2 single crochets in this row. Let's work 2 single crochets immediately. 1, 2 into the next one. 1 double crochet, 2 single crochets, 1 double crochet, and continue the pattern. Now I'm working 2 double crochets side by side. After working 2 double crochets, I immediately work 2 double crochets side by side. We complete the row by knitting 1 double, 2 single, 1 double, 2 single stitches. When we reach the end of the row, we will consider the 3 chains as 1 double crochet. If you like in the West, you can use the chain only to go up, but 1 would be too much. Then I will show you like this. Here, if you are using different yarns, I made 16 double crochets. It was enough for the shelf yarn, but if you are using different yarns with a thinner or thicker texture, the number here could be 20 instead of 16, it could be 12, it could be 10. You can play with the numbers depending on the thickness and fineness of the yarn. We're preparing a standard classic base. The key here is to adjust the number of double crochets we'll end up with at the end of this row to a multiple of 4. Now we started with 16 double crochets. In the second row we doubled each one. In the next row we doubled 1 double. In the next row we doubled 2 double crochets. We continued in this manner until we had 6 double crochets. Only in the 6th row would we normally start with a double crochet. I started with a single crochet. I doubled 6 single crochets. I doubled 6 single crochets and finished the row with a double crochet. I shifted it slightly. This is the only difference. Now let's work 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 rows like this. After working 8 rows, we'll iron this piece thoroughly with a steam iron on the reverse side. After ironing, let's move on to the edge. Look, I completed it as I described here. I continued until I had 6 odd stitches and 1 even stitch. How many rows are there? We've knitted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 rows in total. You can work this piece larger or smaller. Once you understand the logic, you can prepare this piece with any yarn you like. Now look at the reverse side with a steam iron. I turned it inside out and ironed it thoroughly with a steam iron. Now I'll tell you the measurement in centimeters. Based on the yarn and crochet hook size I'm working with and my hand size, it's 30 centimeters so far. Now we'll move on to the edge decoration. I'll create a colorful pattern like this. You can continue with the same color. You can use different colors. It's entirely up to your taste. Now we've reached the end of our turn. Look, when we count our numbers, we're building the pattern to a multiple of 4. So our number should be 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus. You can also build it to a multiple of 5, or it could be clearer. This range, these numbers, is your own. You can change it anyway. When you start knitting, you will understand the logic. Now, after knitting the last double crochet, I cut the yarn like this, 10 centimeters to 15 centimeters. Look, I took out my yarn after the last trabzan. Now I do not touch the chain again. I knitted the first trabzan. I sank to the top. I passed this yarn from front to back. Then I knitted the broken line right behind the trabzan, and I sank with the hook to the point where the yarn comes, and hold the yarn from here and take it towards the back. Now when I do this, look, I create the top space of the chain in the shape of a spike like this. Then I take the short yarn right there where the chain is right there like this 3. I'm dipping into the chain. I took a loop from here. I'm making a lock on a chain like this. After making the lock, I'm immediately behind the banisters through wide gaps like this. At this stage, I'm hiding the yarn by inserting it into the appropriate spaces. Once it's hidden well, we can cut off the excess yarn. Now let's switch to my next color and start decorating the edges. I'll be using blue here. As I mentioned, you can make it in any color you like. You can make it a single color or all the same color. It's entirely up to your taste. Now just make a chain like this. I'm creating a stitch. See, after creating it now, the chain point right here will be in between. Look, I knitted the last double crochet right here. I'm inserting directly into the top of the double crochet. I've pulled off a stitch. You have 2 stitches. I'll put this short yarn in between and hide it at the back. I've created 1 single crochet. After the single crochet, I'm making 5 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. After 5 chains, I'm counting from the next double crochet. Look, the chain point right here will be in between. I'm leaving 1, 2, 3 spaces. We're inserting into the 4th space and we're inserting the single crochet. Now I will create 5 chain nets like this. After the single crochet, I make 5 chains again, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Immediately below, I make 1, 2, 3 treble crochets. I work a single crochet directly to the top of the 4th treble crochet. After the single crochet, I immediately chain 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1, 2, 3 treble crochets into the 4th. By inserting into the 4th, we complete our 5 chain nets in this way until the end of the row. Look, we have completed our net row. Now I am making the last point. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 chains. After 5 chains, see, there are already 1, 2, 3 treble crochets left here, and the first treble crochet we started with. I immediately insert the single crochet into the top of this single crochet here and make my slip stitch. Then I come back to the 5 chain space, slip a stitch, make another slip stitch, and make 1 more chain. Now we will knit 5 single crochets into these 5 chain mesh spaces. Look, I went up with a chain. I insert the single crochet into my mesh space here and knit 2 single crochets into the same space. Fly 4, 5 single crochets, then I immediately move on to the next file. See, I'm inserting directly into the next point. 5 single crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll knit 5 single crochets like this into each of our 5 chain gaps. Let's knit 5 single crochets like this into each gap. Come to the end of the row. Now our knitting is hollow here. Don't let this scare us at all. Now what we knitted in this last row will open at the end. By fluffing it up like this, our knitting will be completely, look, we will have achieved this form. Now I'm coming 5 single crochets into the last file here. After knitting the needle, look here, there is the first single crochet we started with. I insert the first single crochet into the top and make a slip stitch. I insert the second single crochet, I make another slip stitch, I come to the third single crochet, I make another slip stitch, then I go up with a chain and knit one single crochet right into this third single crochet. Now I knit my single crochet over the third of the 5 single crochets. Now I'm filling it with a crochet hook. Look, there's a wide gap on the single crochet that's left below. When we open it like this, you'll see it. So 5 single crochets on this side, 5 single crochets on this side. There is a space between 2 single crochets. Look, we are using the wide space here. I will show it from the back. Look, we will use this place. We will knit 5 double crochets here. After knitting the single crochet, I fill it with the hook. Look, we are inserting the 5 stitches between the 2 single crochets at the bottom. Here, 5 stitches here. We are inserting the space right in between. This becomes the space on the single crochet. Look, it becomes the wide space on the top. I am inserting here. I am knitting 5 double crochets in the same space. Fly. I worked 4 5 5 double treble crochets. Now there are 5 single crochets here. Look, the first one is this 1 2 insertion into the third single crochet directly with a single crochet. Look, I'm attaching the fan here, then I fill my hook. There are 2 single crochets left here, and right now look, 5 single crochets on this side, 5 single crochets on this side. I'm inserting right into the space in between. That is, look at the wide space above the single crochet underneath, and I'm inserting here and immediately knitting 5 double treble crochets. 1 2 3 4 5. Look, I worked 5 treble crochets. Now there are 5 single crochets again. This is the first one. 1 2 3. I insert the single crochet into the top of the single crochet and work the single crochet directly. After the single crochet, I fill in the hook. Look at the wide space above the single crochet below. I open it right up like this. I am inserting myself into the space between the tight needles. I'm going to come to this space right now and knit 5 double crochets. 1 2 3 3 4 and 5. Then I'm counting from the next single crochet. Look, our single crochet is right there. 1 2 3. We always work single crochets by inserting them at the top of the third single crochet. And look, our knitting has started to open up right away. Then we'll finish by hiding the short yarns at the back. This way we're making our fans and edge decorations. Look, I'll show you like this. Look, the wide space at the top of the single crochet right below the single crochet we're inserting is not the exact top of the single crochet, but the wide space above it. 5 single crochets on this side, 5 single crochets on this side. We knit 5 double crochets in the space in between, then 1 2 3. Single crochets in the single crochet, and we create the pattern in this way. Now we will complete the row in this way. The last point is here, the last part. Look, this is the last single crochet point. We knit 5 double crochets here and finish here, pass the yarn from the back here and hide it. We will complete our work. Look, I want to show it like this. Of course, you can start from any point you want. The additional end does not have to be the starting point here. Finally, we iron our work with a steam iron on the reverse side. We will have finished it. It was like this in our recipe. For this work, approximately 50-60 grams of shelving thread is enough. Of course, the weight will vary depending on the shelving thread you will use. It is also worth noting that if you are using different threads, the weight will automatically change because the meter will change and the thickness will change. This is also worth noting. I used a 100-gram thin piece of yarn. One ball makes 2 yarns and it's very easy. I want to point this out. Now let's make a yarn and finish our last row, and then quickly share it with you once it's finished. I have completed our work as I described to you. Look, I want to show it like this. It is really very stylish and beautiful. The finished size is 37 centimeters. 37 centimeters is a very suitable size for a base plate, but you can make it larger. Once you understand the logic, as I said, you can play with the numbers as you want. It was a really nice work. We used about 60 grams of rough yip for this work. As I said, you can do it with different threads. It does not have to be rough yip. Once you understand the logic, you can use any thread you want. You can prepare this work in sizes. You can also make coasters in smaller sizes. Our recipe was like this. I wish good luck to those who will make it. Don't forget to like our video, leave a comment, subscribe to our channel. Goodbye until we see you in the next video.